Hey, what's up guys? My name is Michael Westbrook, and today we're taking a closer look at the Deluxe 61 from Origin Effects. This is part of Origin Effects amp recreation line, and just like all the pedals in this line, it can be used in a variety of different ways. We're going to listen to a full band demo that highlights direct tones, then we're going to listen to some solo clips of the pedal run directly into the front of a tube amp. Then for something a little different, I want to pair it with the Deluxe 55 from Origin Effects. This is their Tweed recreation pedal. This is going to give us a really cool vibey stereo direct rig. Obviously, there's a lot to cover in this video, so if you want to jump around, there will be markers down below. All right, let's get into it. Just a reminder, the tones that you just heard in that full band demo were all direct tones. I was running the Deluxe 61 into an IR loader, and the IRs I was using were actually from Origin Effects. They have a great IR pack that's completely free on their website. I will link that down below. But whether you have this pedal or something else that uses IRs, you definitely should go pick those up. They sound great. It's not a very large IR pack, but what they have there is super usable, very well balanced, and works with a lot of different things. I've been actually super impressed with that pack, especially for a free pack. The IRs in there are really great, so be sure to go pick those up. Now I've got the Deluxe 61 plugged up into my Tweed Deluxe clone. I want to give you guys a feel for how this pedal sounds plugged into an amp. Now, whether you're running an amp or some sort of digital solution, it should be pretty similar. Kind of how I've been using this pedal, and I have been using it here in my home studio as well as out on a few gigs, is I really like using this as kind of its own thing, like a scene change. I'm not necessarily using it as an overdrive pedal, with different overdrives or anything. It's almost like I'm gonna pick up a guitar and turn this pedal on, and that's like a completely different rig than I've been playing. Especially for me as a multi-instrumentalist, it's been super handy for that. Recently I had a gig where I was playing pedal steel, so I had the amp set pretty clean, but then when I played guitar, I wanted a little more grit. I wanted to be able to adjust the levels between those two instruments, and this pedal actually worked incredibly well for that. It was definitely that scene change, and just gave me that ability to balance my levels between different instruments. For me, I love these style pedals for that exact reason and that use case. Let's jump in and hear those tones. Again, I have the Deluxe 61 hooked up into a Tweed Deluxe clone. I'm going to be playing this. This is a Tele from LSL. This is part of their Aero line. One thing to note, it does have a P90 here in the neck. A little warmer, a little rounder, almost kind of jazzier tones from this pickup, especially compared to the brighter kind of standard Tele bridge pickup. We'll take a listen to the clean tone first and then turn on the Deluxe 61. One thing to note that I'll mention here, but we won't really talk about much after this, is the post-drive EQ. This is essentially just to balance the pedal to whatever amp you are using. This toggle switch on the left here, if you go all the way up, then that's like you're using it as a standalone preamp with an IR. For plugging it into an amp, you either want to use EQ1 or EQ2. I find for my uses, most of the time EQ1 works the best for me, and then there's an EQ adjustment here that kind of tweaks just the overall shape of the sound. Kind of as you turn it to the right, I believe it's adding more low end, and then as you turn it down, it's taking away low end or making it a little brighter. I have it set so it's about as neutral as I can get it, but you do hear that footprint of that Deluxe 61. There's definitely kind of an EQ shift. Here's what that sounds like. Again, first the clean tone and then the Deluxe 61. You know, I hear some mid-range stuff going on. There's just a shift in the mids, maybe a little less low end as it's set currently, but really cool, especially when we start dialing up the drive. Let's go ahead and check that out. Bring this output down and bring in some more drive. My favorite tones, or some of my favorite tones, this thing has a lot of great tones, are kind of these semi-dirty tones. I feel like it does these kinds of sounds really well. And just like the Deluxe 55, if you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. But this is very similar in that it just feels great. The feel of this pedal, the natural compression and sag that this thing has feels very good. Just like very amp-like, very responsive, but kind of alive. All right, let's keep turning up this drive. We'll go back to the clean tone just so you can hear that. Man, that sounds and again feels really, really great. We'll keep bringing this gain up. Now, one thing I love about this pedal, and the Deluxe 55 is this way too, is that really when you start pushing it like that, you start to feel that sag and compression. And, you know, for me, I always thought it was like an old speaker thing where they're just kind of starting to sag and they feel like they're about to explode. I think it's a combination of the speaker and the amp and the output transformer and all of that. But this pedal has that thing to it. It does that thing where it's starting to kind of collapse on itself a little bit, especially, you know, as that gain is just almost all the way up. I feel like you're starting to hear it right here with this sound. Let's keep going on that drive. I will say with the drive up this far, it's definitely getting darker. There's not as much of that top end. But to me, that's very amp-like. I feel like that's what amps do as you turn them up. That top end, you get more and more saturation. You get kind of less top end. The top end starts rolling off, and you get all that sag, all that compression. That low end starts to kind of fart out and sound, like it does, like it's about to explode. You're not really getting more volume at a certain point. It's just saturating and sagging more and more as you turn up that drive. This does that. It has that feel of a real amp. I'm going to bring this drive down. Now let's hear the whole other aspect of this pedal, and that's the tremolo. This tremolo sounds amazing. Now we've got a couple of different shapes on the tremolo here. Here are the other. So that's not quite squarish, but it feels that way to me. It feels a little harder. Not as direct of a cutoff like a square wave would be, but it does have that kind of more throbbing type sound. And that's as opposed to our top shape there. So as you've seen, I've been playing with the multiplier switch there on the speed. That just gives us a wide range of speeds that we can tweak it to. I will point out too that, and I'm not going to demo that in this video, but it does have a foot switch that is available that you can use as tap tempo. I believe there's some other uses for that as well, but I set it up for tap tempo, and that was super handy and convenient. So now I've got both the Deluxe 61 and the Deluxe 55 hooked up as a DI stereo rig. The Deluxe 55 is a tweed amp recreation from Origin Effects, and I think this makes for a great sounding and feeling stereo DI rig. All right, let's turn that drive up a little bit. Now, last thing, you got to hear this. I'm going to turn the tremolo on. Obviously, there's only trem on one side, but it still gives a really cool stereo effect. Hopefully this video gives you a good feel of the Deluxe 61. I have to say, I really dig this pedal. I think this and the Deluxe 55 both just feel incredible, sound incredible. They offer a good balance of features, yet simplicity. I think it works with a lot of different rigs and a lot of different uses. I was actually talking to a friend recently about these pedals, and he was kind of interested in creating a DI rig that just maybe was a little simpler, a little easier to use than certain digital options. And I told him that I think it would be great for that use, but also it's going to feel great. It's going to feel more like what he's used to with some of his vintage amps. In scenarios where he has to use a DI solution for playing guitar, I think, pairing one of these with some sort of IR loader that are just getting cheaper and cheaper, it seems like, would be a great way to have a good but vibey direct rig. Now, I think one huge thing about this pedal too is that it can be used in different ways. So if you do want to use it as a direct solution, but then sometimes you play with amps, you can integrate it into that setup as well. For me, I kind of go back and forth. It really depends on the gig or depends on what I'm doing, what I'm playing. But the ability to use this with my amps as a great sounding tremolo pedal or a drive pedal or a little of both, is a huge selling point for me. I think that the versatility that this pedal gives you and all the different ways that you can use it really helps you get the bang for your buck. That's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you for watching. Big thank you to Origin Effects for sending over the Deluxe 61. I actually reached out to them about this pedal just because I was so impressed with the Deluxe 55. And I have to say, it's been super inspiring to play. It's one of those pedals that I just want to sit down with and play, and I just kind of get lost in it because it sounds so good and there are so many great tones in it. All right, until next time, I'll see you out there.